Hey, I'm Kev and welcome to the Challenge Rivals 2 recap. And yes, we are in the final challenge, the final episode. Of course, I'm honoring one of the teams that actually won the challenge, and that's why I'm wearing gray this week. I had to also honor a team that I really enjoyed watching and I really loved and I was rooting for almost the whole season, and that's why we have it right here honoring the red team, Cook and Cara Maria. So as we left off last week, I gotta apologize because I swore that I saw Johnny and Frank's kayak flip. I was too excited. I rewatched the episode, and of course we didn't know which kayak flipped. So right, we get to this episode, and we all now know the kayak that actually flipped was Jordan and Marlins, and I was rooting for them because I wanted them to experience what a final is. So I'm really proud of them. But I guess it did not happen. This is their first challenge, and I know there is gonna be more challenges for them. Now, we get a little scene from them in the yacht, and now it's time for the real deal. They start in their yacht, and TJ is like, "This is the real shit now, okay? Yesterday you were in Paradise Island or Dream Island, but now you're in Nightmare Island. They're gonna have to get there's gonna be 5 checkpoints, and in they have to complete the checkpoints, and they have to get a idol so they can receive a final sixth idol, and that idol is gonna be the golden elephant. Whoever has the golden elephant are going to be the winners. This final challenge is designed like a little circle or like a track. So you got the beginning, and then you got the five checkpoints. So you gotta go around to the first checkpoint, and then come back to the beginning and put the idol, and then go back and to the second one, and then go back to the beginning. So you're going in circles every time. So you're gonna go in circles like 5 times. This looks tiring, but it I don't think it is as complicated, as tiring as some of the others previous, like Cutthroat and Rivals 1. Those were badass. But I did like the whole concept of this little island being like deserted, Nightmare Island, and like something just bad going on in that island. I just enjoyed the whole feeling of the checkpoints, and it was just so cool. Like, I would have freaked out, but I would have loved it. And I also gotta mention that this final reminds me of the final of the ruins, and they actually did in Thailand too. And they had to get idols, and then get a big idol, and then go to the finish line. This reminds me much of that final. They start swimming again. I'm like, poor Carmaria. Now it's the guys' turn to go, and they just blast off. All of the guys know how to swim. They're good, and now this race starts. Go to the first checkpoint, and the first checkpoint is this little triangle, and it is a puzzle. So you gotta move the stick, so you only remain with one. So it looks like Emily and Paula are there first, and we got CT and Wes, and then finally Cook and Cara Maria, and at last we got Johnny and Frank. And now Johnny is not good at puzzles. We all know this. Emily saying she's not good at puzzles. Cook actually looks like she can do puzzles, and that's why I like her, because she can do all of it. She's a strong player. She's fast. She can run. She can jump. She can do all of this stuff, and she can actually do puzzles. She has everything. And Frank is always bragging about him being the most intelligent, and this and that, and I'm just not seeing the intelligence at all. So CT is like, this puzzle is I do when I'm drunk in this bar, and he's like, da 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 da, and they finish it, and just like that they're out, and Frank and Johnny are left there, and they cannot do this. And all of a sudden Carmery is like, I got a vision in my head, and da 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 da, they finish it like that, and they're out. And at this point I'm freaking excited. Why? Because 2 of my teams are now in the lead. So finally Emily and Paula finished this, and I love these little sticks. They got some voodoo dolls on the top of those sticks, and that was so funny. And I'm telling you, this whole final I love. And I like how when they finish, they got a smoke bomb up, and that just looks so cool. And then finally, Frank and Johnny actually get this like way later, and then Johnny is like wasting time ripping this the sticks off, and I'm like, are you serious? CT and Wes get to the next one. This one is some math algebra shit that I do not understand, and I just did not understand what the hell they were gonna do. But you had to cut the there were ropes with different colors, and every rope there was like numbers, and you had to cut the ropes that added up the number that was right to this equation, whatever it is. CT is trying to do math in this, and he's like, I can do this, but I don't have a calculator. I'm like, CT, you really do this? He's like, my fat fingers are not good in the dirt. The rest of the teams come, and they're just as they are coming in. CT is having this big number, and then they're just all confused, and then he's like, just put 184. And he's like, are you sure? He's like, yes, if not, we'll cut out the whole thing. But I do not remember what happened if you got it wrong, because you only had one chance. They actually get it right, and it's 184. So at this point, Kramer and Cook looks over to their little board, and it's the same but with different colors. So they just copy what they have done, and they are off. So Emily is like, I cannot do this right now, and I totally understand why, because of the heat and all this stuff, and you're just not capable to do this kind of stuff while in this pressure and heat and exhaustion and dehydration. So I totally understand them. And she's like, I can cut all of the ropes and just move on, but my mom is an 8th grade teacher, and she has to prove her rights, so she will not embarrass her mom. So she actually gets it right. She tells Johnny and Frank the answer, and they're off. And the third one is food. Actually reminds me of the ruins where they had to eat all the stuff, and Kelly Ann and Sarah just ate that and they ran. And I enjoyed so much this, because it looked like a lab. It looked like they're experimenting with people, and it just looks so cool. So you have to eat the whole thing in your table, and then get the key and open the little drawer and get out of there. Wes is just out of this. He cannot do this. Cook says she cannot do this. So Karma is trying to do this by herself, but Cook is actually helping her. Paula and Emily are here now, and they're just eating this shit like it's dessert. But they're just chugging this shit down. At this point now, Frank and Johnny come, but now it's just the puke fix. You can see here, there, in the middle. Everywhere you see, it's puke. Everywhere you look, people are puking. When they were drinking that stuff, I saw something that it was just like a little worm. It was just so freaking disgusting, and her face was just like, what? And Paula just, it was like bam, and they were the first ones out of there, and now they're in the lead. Next is CT and Wes, and they're out of there. And finally, Cook and Cara Maria finish, and they're out of there. And Johnny and Wes are just, they have to finish. So CT and Wes get to the next checkpoint first, and the next checkpoint is body bags, and you have to carry the 20 body bags. And let me tell you, these body bags look heavy as hell. They look heavy as hell, and they have to carry them from one point to another point, and with a kind of stretch. The stretcher does not look comfortable. That actually reminded me of the cutthroat final challenge, because Emily did this with Jen, and Cara Maria was carried by Luke and Laurel in the stretcher, but now they have to carry body bags. And CT and Wes are alone there, and they start. Now, I really thought Emily was gonna do this well, but of course she has Paula, and she cannot do this very well. And I really thought that as a whole, Cook and Cara Maria were gonna do this a little bit faster, because Paula is a little bit not good with her upper body strength. Now finally, Johnny and Frank are there, and now it's all tied up. If Johnny and Frank can fire up and just fly through this, but no, they don't. CT and Wes are out, and at this point, it's time for panic, because they're right into the final checkpoint. TT is now actually like in the final, in the yeah, they're in the final checkpoint, and at this point they're getting in, and Johnny and Frank are getting out. So at the end, the final checkpoint, you had to dig a hole, and then there was a trap door. Get into the trap door and go through this like kind of like little um vine maze, I guess. It was just there were sticks, but they kind of looked like vines. They kind of wanted them to look like mines, I guess, but there were sticks, and you had to get pass through the sticks and get the idol. Once you had the idol, you know you were gonna run to the finish line, and you were finished. So CT and Wes are there. Wes gets the idol, and they're Johnny and Frank are in the middle of running. CT and have all the idols, and they get the final idol, and it's this elephant, really skinny elephant. So they have to throw this little bomb, and a sound let the other team knew that it was just over. So at this point, they have to go to the back to the yacht in this boat, and they are called the winners. And now Emily and Paula are in the final checkpoint, and Cook and Cara Maria are in the still in the stretchers carrying the body bags, and Cook and Cara Maria are just defeated. They never gave up. Emily and Paul, they get the final, and they are like now actually the winners. They retrieve the final gold elephant, and they're off, and they're happy because they know they have won, and alarm, the second alarm goes up. So the winners are CT and Wes. I'm so happy for CT because he finally won a challenge. It took him 9 challenges in like 10 years. 10 freaking years. That's like half of my lifetime. I'm serious. 10 years for him to win a challenge. Can you imagine that? That is just so freaking crazy. And it took Wes another 6 years to win another one. I mean, it is crazy. It is crazy. Emily and Paula are the winners for the girls, and good job for those two girls because they did well. They worked well together. I'm really happy for Emily, and I guess I can say I'm a little bit happy for Paula because she like she said, she is not a one-hit wonder. It was very nostalgic to see all of the images and the little clips of CT throughout the years, and how he had long hair. It was just very sad, nostalgic. It was very cool, because he actually is kind of like a big huge part of the challenge. So yeah, it was really nice to see him finally win, and he kept the gold elephant. So I'm really happy, you know, for everybody. So the winners, CT and Wes and Paul and Emily, drive was 2 champions, and I think my job here is done. I gotta say, it was such a great challenge, and you betcha I will do next challenge recaps. The challenge may be over, but my recaps are not over because I have 2 special videos that I'm gonna show during the next 2 weeks, so keep watching. So thank you very much to everybody who watched. See you till next season. See you later, alligators. Bye bye.